Bitcoin continues an almost unchallenged win streak here with so many consecutive days of green candles. The question is this a bear market retracement, a short squeeze, a supply shock? What is the force here driving up the Bitcoin price? And is this something that is going to lead to the best possible recovery? Meaning, are we out of the woods here? Is the bear market just an illusion and this was yet another massive correction, a shakeout that will lead to massive higher highs? Are we out of the woods? Now, as you guys know on this channel, I have gone through a lot of different opinions, nuanced as they might be, on different parts of the market. At one point in June saying I was done and I wanted to take a wait and see approach, obviously hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst case scenario that this would be a protracted or prolonged bear market. Now, on the other hand, it was very obvious that NFTs started to have some real momentum, and so I started trading those coins. And then once the Axie Infinity numbers started coming in, I said, look, this is going to be a mega trend on gaming that seems to be bucking the general market trend. So I went pretty hard on NFTs and gaming, while at the same time remaining pretty much wait and see on everything but Bitcoin and Ethereum as far as traditional sort of fungible markets. Well, it does feel right now as though the tides are starting to shift. And so we're going to be looking at some pieces of data that I'm looking at right now to understand if this trend has fully shifted and it looks like we're going into a bullish trajectory again, akin to what we had in December, January, February, or of course in DeFi summer of last year. Or is this a relief rally and we're going to plunge back down into the depths? Now, if you guys are excited for this one, go ahead, destroy that like button. Remember, each and every comment on this video is entered to win your own hardware wallet. As always, we're going to be giving you the newest and best information in the space, helping you get ahead of crazy trends like Bored Ape Yacht Club, which if you would have bought an ape back when I told you to, you'd be up about 10x, maybe 15x, depending on the ape that you got today. And that was just a few weeks ago. So if you guys want these new trends as they come to the market, the next trend around the corner before it becomes popular knowledge, then all you have to do is subscribe and put that bell notification on, and you'll get each and every one of my videos first. Now, remember, there are scammers in the comments pretending to be me. Don't fall for it. I'll never ask you to send me funds. And with that said, let's dive in. Now let's take a look here at the Bitcoin price. What I'm about to say is a bit paraphrased from Crown, who will be here tomorrow to give you a full expert breakdown of the price action. But in general, since the beginning of this crash here at the end of, in the mid-May, right, May 19th or so here, what Crown has been saying and what I've been hearing from other TA experts is that we would want to consolidate on these lows about as long as we spent on the highs. And from February about 19th here, when we first really started peeking our heads up at this, local high for Bitcoin, it was March, April, May 19th that we ended up crashing. So about 3 months here at the highs. And from my TA buddies, they're saying that you want to spend about that much time consolidating on the lows to have this be healthy. So from May 19th, June 19th, July 19th, that would mean that we would be consolidating into, early August. Now, of course, this isn't a hard and fast deadline, but it seems like we're coming towards the end of that period. So if we were to break up, that would be in alignment with that original prescription of a 3-month consolidation. Now, it does feel as though we're pushing towards that now. But I do want to remind you that each and every time it looked like we had a breakout here on Bitcoin throughout these early months, we did get these stiff rejections. So there's quite a bit of painting the charts and manipulation right now. And that's why I'm trying not to get FOMO'd over every single move in the market. And it does feel like this is a FOMO-tastic move. I mean, look at this incredible growth. You scarcely see so many days of positive price growth in Bitcoin's history. I mean, just look at it. You don't really see quite this unobstructed up-only type candle. So this is a very exciting move, but usually these moves do come with some slight pullbacks and corrections. So I'm still looking at this very intently before going absolutely crazy. And I'll explain why I'm still being cautious. Even though I might miss out on some gains, the caution is I don't want to be depleted by a crab market that goes up, you buy in, and then it crashes again, and you end up getting scared, and you end up sort of losing on each back and forth. So I would just want to be very precise in my DeFi movements and conserve capital. Now, that said, we have this amazing event, the Ethereum hard fork, the London hard fork, coming up on August 4th. And this is quite possibly the biggest fundamental piece of news for Ethereum since I've known Ethereum, since I've really been involved with Ethereum all of 4+ years ago. This is a biggie. And I don't believe it's possible to really, quote, price it in because there is so much happening with the actual underlying fundamentals of the code of Ethereum. Now, of course, scaling on this level, we're going to see how successful the ETH Foundation is. We're going to see how successful Vitalik and co are at actually bringing us a layer of scalability here with the base fee EIP 1559 and actually making, hopefully, Ethereum a deflationary asset. It would be absolutely insane. That's why we have coined the term the triple halving, which is coming towards Ethereum, because there are so many big fundamental changes that affect the actual supply and demand curve. And this is very, very exciting stuff. So we'll see how this kind of comes out in the wash, and we'll see if this is as successful as we wanted. And this is why I announced several weeks ago, even though I was bearish, that I was going to start accumulating ETH, because the fundamentals around ETH have never been stronger. And seeing the explosive run on NFTs, which is almost exclusively an Ethereum-based phenomenon, although there are other chains and other different side chains and alternative ways to trade NFTs, whether it's on Ecomi's Vive app, and I apologize if it's pronounced Vivi or whatever, you guys know what I'm talking about. And then of course the Ronin side chain, which is Axie Infinity's side chain. There are other ways to trade NFTs. You also have Flow blockchain from Dapper Labs, but when you look at the most powerful trends and really the collector's culture, it's all on Ethereum. So this is a huge, huge bump in addition to DeFi that is bringing Ethereum fundamental value. And then you get the monetary policy change, and it does feel as though early August should be very bullish for Ethereum. And I don't believe it's quite possible, like I said, to price this stuff in. It's just too big of news. Now, that said, looking at the charts here, we have a nice run out of Polkadot. I did shine a light on Polkadot a few weeks ago saying, hey, look, DOT is not being talked about. It feels like it's fallen out of favor, and yet they're putting out big fundamental changes with actual live products now going live on Polkadot. And so you're seeing the Polkadot ecosystem come to life, and it wouldn't surprise me to see some bullishness there. And of course, we got a nice pump in the last few days from Polkadot, up like 40% or so on the week. Not crazy, but I do think you're seeing Kusama kind of follow suit here, and it would be very interesting to see if Polkadot is actually a prime mover to make it back up to the top 5 or something like that. That's where it was sitting, I believe, last August or something like that. I also pointed out Terra Luna as one of my favorite projects that looked like it had gotten smashed down pretty far. It's actually had a nice week itself too. Link is an always good buy because in my opinion, it's one of the fundamentally most strong coins in the market. And then of course we had Rune, which is always just something I love, a little bit of Thorchain in my life. As you guys know, I'm a Thorchain bull. They had their hacks and their exploits. Everyone was trying to ruin their life, but then they had a really nice bounce back. And when you have a fundamentally strong project that gets overly flooded or has some big event that's negative, but you believe they'll overcome it, like was the case with Rune, I was very excited to see that because those are the types of events that can offer opportunities. And so it's good to see that DeFi is starting to feel healthy again. But again, these are all DeFi majors. As you guys know, this channel, this community, we built it around very undervalued sort of hidden gems. And so a lot of those are still at rock bottom, dead heartbeat prices. And so as the market really comes back, I believe there's going to be some easy, not too overextended moves here where you could put maybe a few ETH into something or whatever is a smaller amount of money for you guys. And I believe you'll get good results because as the market fully turns on and goes bullish, it'll first become Bitcoin, then it'll come down to the majors, the L1s. You'll see things like the blue chips in DeFi run, and then you'll probably see those mid and low caps go bananas. That's typically how it works. So that's why I'm not too FOMO'd here. I'm not too stressed because I do believe we'll have time here watching these majors move, obviously DCAing into majors like Polkadot or Kusama or Rune or Luna or Aave, Synthetics. Obviously, maybe not Synthetics given potential regulatory issues, but the point is that these big blue chips are never a terrible idea to DCA into, but once everything starts moving and we get confirmations that Bitcoin has broken through critical resistance at 42 and then 45, I believe there will be plenty of time to allocate towards other gems in the market that haven't quite gotten that pump. So that's why I'm not getting too FOMO'd, and that's why I'm also not kicking myself for not having bought crazy yet. I do believe there will be plenty of opportunities in the future. And so until we've gotten this real signal that we're out of the woods, I don't want to go crazy yet. Now that said, I have been going crazy in NFTs and gaming, as I've been making very clear. So you can separate the two different theories here, that macro side on a fungible token side, on a DeFi token side, on sort of the traditional stuff that we've been covering. I was on wait and see. However, I was also very much so bullish on gaming, NFTs, Ethereum in general, and that's why I've been allocating there even during this quote bear market period that I've been calling, or that I've been on wait and see mode for. So I hope that clarifies it. I've been seeing a lot of comments that say, hey, you're being bullish and bearish and bipolar about this. And the reality is that I have been focusing on different narratives and allocating differently towards them. And in this particular choppy, crabby, correction-based market, that's just the way that the game is that things are living a little bit in their own bubbles. And so that's how I've been analyzing the market, is in different silos. Again, I hope this is helpful. If it's not, let me know in the comment section below. I always want to make my content as informative as possible. So let me know if this particular approach is too confusing and you want something simpler. I'll do my best. And so if we go back to my tweets in May, this was really the price action I was looking for, which was this rip back up to 42, well, a test of 42, and then getting above it for a rip, because there's a big gap above 42 to 45 and then 50. There's only a couple key areas of interest during in the 40s here. And so seeing us get above 42 was something I was looking forward to. And I kept looking for it. And then once we got knocked down, I got very disheartened, because I thought, okay, we're not even going to get to test this run back up to the 50s. That's really bearish. But now it looks like we're getting this test. Again, I use the word test because it's not 100% clear to me that this is a bull mode again. That said, NFT land is only getting more bullish, and I do believe that it's safe to allocate funds there for the foreseeable future until the trend ends. And the reason why it's so big right now is that we have a few huge things happening. For example, a post by FaZe Banks. FaZe Banks created a FaZe Clan, which is one of the biggest sort of internet collectives, and they focused on professional esports gaming. They're like the biggest esports team, FaZe, and have this huge cultural impact with multi-million following streamers, tons of them. Anyway, you guys probably know about FaZe. I don't need to talk about it. The point is, FaZe Banks created FaZe, and he's been deep in NFTs. And look at this. He just made $500,000 in a flip in a month, and he's losing his mind. And he's got an audience of mostly Gen Z, sort of 15 to 20-year-olds. And this is the very next gen, seeing that their favorite streamers and content creators are making crazy money trading JPEGs. So it's going to seep into this next generation as a cultural movement. The fact that people are able to get into these clubs and trade these rare items, it's a culture of collectibles that I believe is going to be very, very popular in its digital format. And so this is a cultural move that is going to adopt users. It's going to bring new audiences in. And the more people come into a network, the more valuable that network is. And so that's what I think is the big missing piece here for people to understand why the NFT movement going on is so much more interesting in some ways than DeFi, which typically appeals to people already in crypto as opposed to new audiences. And so I believe this is a move that is being underrated. And I also believe that that's why people are missing how big it is because its ability to bring in new audiences through things that are fun and relatable, like these collectibles. And what we see here is that a lot of this move that that created this buy from FaZe Banks is brought on by these, which is wallets that are believed now to be owned by Three Arrows Capital, which is Suzu, creator of Deribit, one of my favorite people in the space, went on a buying spree, buying punks, pretty much all the punks that he could, over 100 of them, spending millions and millions of dollars forming a position in CryptoPunks. And then they went in and bought some art blocks. So Keyboard Monkey, who we covered on a previous episode here, actually bought a zombie punk for $1 million and sold it within 48 hours for $2 million as part of this punk mania that just happened. And for people on my last video, I saw some people saying they didn't understand which project I was talking about that was creating life-changing wealth. Well, I thought it was pretty clear because in the title it says CryptoPunk Mania Explained. People are making $1 million profit on a JPEG in one day. That is pretty insane. Now, of course, you're going to say, well, they had $1 million to spend on the NFT to begin with, so it probably didn't change their life because they were already millionaires and very successful. Sure, whatever. Making $1 million on a trade in a very short amount of time is absolutely insane. So you got to cover it, and I do consider that to be absolutely magnificent levels of wealth. So going back to this, these people who swept the floor on punks and just created this mania phase went into art blocks. And so art blocks is what Keyboard Monkey bought with his $1 million in profit, and saying, hey, look, here's the thread on why I bought this. I'm going to do expletives deleted here. But he's like, look, these guys bought, the guys who bought the CryptoPunks bought these art blocks, so I'm buying them. And so, that's what he was saying. These are the other notable things that were bought in his frenzy: Def Beef, Pegs, Autoglyphs, Punks, his own, and a ton of art blocks curated. So if you guys are looking for potential next areas of heat in NFT land, you could check these out. I do want to reiterate that as fun and exhilarating as it is for me to see my thesis of NFTs coming to life in front of me and seeing NFTs really become the driving force of user adoption here in crypto land, as I've been predicting for years, I want to remind everyone that this is a mania phase. This feels quite euphoric. And during these euphoric times, it's always important to take profits. So if you've made some serious profits in NFT land, just like you would in fungible token land, you want to take those profits and you want to reinvest them in things that are down bad. And that could be some serious DeFi projects that are still really hurting from the drop. Again, I tweeted yesterday that a lot of DeFi projects look pretty bottomed right now compared to NFTs, which are mooning. And that's usually a sign that a rotation could be a good move. It's always good to rotate your crops here and never get too overly attached to something that's being up only, because those trends are typically short-lived and rotate. And so it's important to realize that. Again, I'm going to be doing a ton of NFT content, as I have been, as I've promised I've been doing, trying to get you ahead of the game in NFT land. But I do want to just remind you guys that if anything ever feels euphoric, as it does feel right now in NFT land, where it feels like you can't lose up only forever type assets with apes and punks specifically, then I really want to remind you that it's never a bad idea to take some profits, especially if those profits are really important to you. If that 5 ETH or 10 ETH or 20 ETH would really be a huge life-changing amount of money for you, it's never bad to take profits out of that single asset and redistribute them, even though I'm very bullish long-term still on apes and punks. So I hope that helps and I hope that makes sense. So in conclusion, the market looks like it could be headed towards an absolutely world-class recovery, but this is still a move, as I've been saying since May, that I've been waiting for to really see the full rebirth, the reblooming of the bull market. It certainly looks and feels good from a Bitcoin on-chain perspective. It looks and feels good from an Ethereum fundamentals perspective, with the Ethereum hard fork coming up in just a few days. And the question is, will the entire market come back to life in this beautiful way? I certainly hope so, and if it does, I'll be allocating again to projects I consider undervalued, lesser known, and trying to get those storybook gains on the next leg up. But please bear in mind that what we've seen is that the markets this time, the cycles this time, are behaving wildly differently, and they could be very extended, meaning that each wave might just be a shorter wave with much less parabolic growth. So that means that when you're up big, when you make profits, you should always be very controlled and precise about taking those profits and putting them on the sideline, just in case we end up with another corrective period like this. Again, I'm not saying we're fully out of the woods yet, though it is feeling very exciting. I'm fighting the FOMO myself because I want to start aping like crazy. Oh, do I want to be bullish right now? But I'm still wait and see before I'm going too crazy on DeFi, which I do believe would be the spot to rotate into, given how DeFi has kind of been neglected and almost died off during this wild period for NFTs. So that's how I'm seeing the market. I think NFTs will continue to be in an amazing bull run, but again, you just have to practice taking profits. If you're up big, if you have a lot of profits in NFT land, and I couldn't imagine that you don't, because almost everything has gone up in value in NFT land over the past few days, weeks, and even months, well, I would encourage you guys to make sure you take profits just in case there is a big corrective movement. Now, that said, I do believe what's happening with NFTs is adding a ton of new audiences that weren't here in crypto before, so the potential for a serious prolonged bull run in NFTs is certainly there. That said, no matter what, when you develop a profit-taking strategy, you cannot lose on the downs if you make sure to stash away your profits on the ups. So just keep that in mind, no matter how good things seem. That said, I hope you guys got value out of this. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you want more videos like this, again, we're going to be covering and bringing on some of the most trusted voices in NFTs, in trading, in all of the crypto landscape over the coming days, and you're not going to want to miss this content. Make sure you subscribe and put that bell notification on, as we're going to try to bring you the absolute best information in the space. With that said, my name's Elio Trades. You can find me on Twitter at Elio Trades. The link is in the description. As always, I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon on the next episode.